When you reach retirement age and you have a pension, taking money out of your other retirement accounts can feel confusing. You worked hard to save that money. You want to use it wisely so it lasts for the rest of your life. In this video, I will explain the smart way to take money out of your retirement accounts when you have a pension. I will explain things in simple English, step by step, so you can understand how to make your money work best for you. First, let's talk about what retirement accounts are. Retirement accounts are special places where you and maybe your employer put money so you can have income later in life. Some examples are 401ks, IRAs, and sometimes other plans. These accounts are meant for long-term saving. A pension is also a form of retirement income. A pension is a steady income that you will receive, usually every month, for the rest of your life once you retire. If you have a pension, that means you already have some income that you can count on every month. That is a good foundation for your retirement planning. When you have a pension, you might not need to take money from your other retirement accounts right away, but you still need a plan for how and when to take money from those accounts so you do not run out of money, and so you pay the least amount in taxes and penalties. One of the first things to understand is that retirement accounts have rules about when you can remove money without penalties. In many countries, including the United States, if you withdraw money from most retirement accounts before you are 59.5 years old, you pay a penalty. That penalty is often 10% of the money you take out early. On top of that, you may also owe normal income taxes on the money you withdraw. That means if you take money out too early, you could lose a large part of it to penalties and taxes. When you wait until you reach the right age, usually 59.5 or older, you can withdraw money from these accounts without the penalty, but you will still have to pay income tax on the money that came from tax-deferred accounts, like a traditional IRA or 401k. That is because you did not pay tax on that money when you put it in. The government allowed you to save money in those accounts without paying tax now, but the trade-off is you pay tax when you take it out later. There is another rule you need to know about called Required Minimum Distributions, or RMDs. Once you reach a certain age, you are required by law to take at least a minimum amount out of your tax-deferred retirement accounts every year. This rule is there so people do not keep the money in these accounts forever without paying tax on them. The age at which you must begin RMDs has changed over time, and this age could be different where you live, but in the United States, it is typically around 73 or older. If you failed to take your RMD by the deadline, the penalty could be large. You want to make sure you follow the rules so you avoid big penalties. Now you may be wondering, if you have a pension, do you even need to touch your other retirement accounts? The answer is, it depends on your income and your expenses. If your pension and other monthly income sources are enough to cover your living expenses, it might make sense to delay taking money from your retirement accounts. Letting your other retirement accounts continue to grow can help you have more money later in life. Retirement accounts can keep growing because your investments may earn interest, dividends, or gains. If you do not need the money now, letting it grow may increase the amount you have in the future. A smart strategy for taking money out is to think about your income needs. You want to cover your basic living costs first. If your pension already covers most or all of those costs, then you might not need to withdraw from your other accounts right away. Instead, you might let the money grow until you need it. Holding off on withdrawing can also help you stay in a lower tax bracket, which means you pay less in income taxes over time. Another smart idea is to look at the order in which you take money from your accounts. Some financial professionals recommend taking money from taxable accounts first, then tax-deferred accounts, and finally from tax-free accounts like Roth IRAs. This order is not a strict rule, and you may want to adjust it based on your situation, but the basic idea is to use up the money that will cost you more in taxes later and save the money that can grow tax-free for as long as possible. By planning the sequence of withdrawals, you can reduce the overall amount of taxes you pay over your lifetime. Let's talk more about taxes and your pension. Your pension income is usually taxed as normal income in many countries. That means it is added to your other income and taxed at your regular income tax rate. When you take money from a traditional retirement account, that money is also taxed as income. So, if you take a large withdrawal in 1 year, you could push yourself into a higher tax bracket. When that happens, you pay a higher tax rate on more of your income. This is something you want to avoid if you can. One smart tactic is to withdraw just enough from your retirement accounts so that your total income stays within a lower tax bracket. For example, let's imagine that with your pension and Social Security, you are in a low or moderate tax bracket. If you take a big lump sum from your retirement account, you could push your income into a higher bracket, meaning you would pay more tax on that money. Instead of doing that, you can spread out your withdrawals over several years. By taking smaller amounts each year, you can keep your income from jumping into a higher tax bracket and end up paying less tax overall. A method for spreading out withdrawals is called a systematic withdrawal plan. This means you set a schedule for taking money out regularly, such as each month or each year. You decide how much you need for your expenses and take that amount regularly. You do not take a large sum all at once. This can help you plan for your budget, and it can also make your money last longer because you are not spending more than you planned. Another strategy involves thinking about how much you can safely take out each year without running out of money. One well-known guideline some people use is called the 4% rule. This rule suggests you withdraw about 4% of your total retirement savings in your first year of retirement, and then adjust that amount for inflation every year after that. This rule is not perfect, and you may need to adjust it based on your own situation, but it gives you a simple starting point for planning your withdrawals. When you have a pension, your retirement accounts are not your only source of income. You want to consider your full picture. That means your pension, Social Security, savings, investments, and any other income all together. Maybe your pension covers your regular monthly needs, but you want to travel, help your children, or pay for health care. When you plan your withdrawals, you take those needs into account. It is important not to take money out of retirement accounts just because it is there. You need a reason that ties into your real spending needs. One important part of smart withdrawal planning is to think about unexpected expenses. Life can bring surprises like medical bills or home repairs. Many people recommend keeping an emergency fund in a regular savings account. This means you do not have to take money from your retirement accounts for unexpected costs. This helps you avoid paying taxes and penalties on money you didn't plan to withdraw. It also protects your retirement savings so they can keep growing. Let's talk about another smart idea called Roth conversions. A Roth IRA is a type of retirement account that you fund with money you have already paid tax on. That means when you withdraw money from a Roth IRA in retirement, you usually do not pay tax on the withdrawals. If you have money in a traditional IRA or 401k, you could convert some of that money into a Roth IRA before retirement. When you convert, you pay income tax on the amount converted in the year you do it, but after that, the money can grow tax-free. Doing Roth conversions carefully over several years when your income is lower can reduce the amount of taxes you pay overall. This is another strategy that some retirees use to keep more of their money working for them. This concept is widely known among retirement planners, though examples vary by country. Another thing to consider is that you do not have to take money from retirement accounts just because you have them. Some retirees choose to let their money stay invested longer, especially if they don't need it right now. Letting the money stay invested may help it continue to grow. This can be especially helpful if you have a pension that covers most of your income needs. Your retirement accounts can act as a backup or a source for future expenses. You also want to think about inflation. Over time, the cost of living goes up. Things like housing, food, and healthcare can cost more in the future than they do today. If you take too much money now and spend it, you might not have enough later when things cost more. Part of smart retirement planning is to find a balance between enjoying your retirement now and making sure you have money later when you still need it. Remember, if you delay withdrawals and let your retirement accounts continue to grow, those accounts can benefit from compound growth. Compound growth means you earn returns not only on your original savings, but also on the returns that savings have already earned. Over many years, compound growth can make a big difference in how much money you have. That is why taking money out too early without a good reason can cost you in the long run. Another rule many people follow is to take required minimum distributions when they become necessary. When you reach the age where the law requires you to take a minimum amount out of your tax-deferred accounts, make sure you do it on time. Missing that deadline could lead to big penalties. Once you take the required amount, you can choose what to do with it. You can spend it if you need to, or you can put it into a taxable account where it can continue to grow if you do not need to spend it right away. At the same time, there are exceptions to penalties that some people may be able to use. For example, if you retire after leaving a job at age 55 or older, some plans allow you to take money out without the early 10% penalty, even if you are younger than 59.5 years old. There are also exceptions for very specific situations, like disability or certain financial hardships. These exceptions can help you access money when you truly need it, but they are specialized rules. You should always